Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I've had a couple viewers ask me questions about circuit boards, how to sort them properly, how to sell them, what parts are good to keep, what parts are good to separate. And in order to answer this question, I think the best thing first to address is it all depends on where you live. There are different rules and different prices depending on what country you come from, what state or province you come from, as well as what scrapyard you go to. So what I'm going to first of all do is I'm going to go through the different types. I am going to talk about some of the things that I take off and some of the options of where you can sell them. So here you go. The first thing, there are places you can sell circuit boards whole online. In the United States, there is boardsource.com. There is in Canada called Golden Money. It's a place based out of Toronto, Ontario. And they will take a lot of pieces off circuit boards, especially your IC chips, your CPU chips, your gold fingers, RAM sticks. But when I started looking into, for example, boardsource.com, it does kind of concern me because shipping prices are the responsibility of the seller. And some of these circuit boards are very heavy. So I actually do cut off certain parts of it. The gold parts I will cut off. They will buy those separately. So it definitely cuts down on weight and shipping costs. The other thing, I have seen other people sell certain parts on eBay or Kijiji. People are looking for RAM sticks or CPU chips or IC chips, especially if they are rebuilders of computers or different circuit boards. So there are definitely different options. So here we go. The first thing I do want to say is at a scrapyard, again, it depends on where you live. The scrapyard I go to in London, or Sarnia, Ontario, and London, they do not categorize their circuit boards into different grades. They will throw them all into one pile, and they will give you e-waste price, which is about 5 to 7 cents a pound, so it's not much. But the nice thing about circuit boards is you can find them in every and any appliance or electronic. So they are definitely sellable. It's great to make sure they stay out of the landfill. And also, depending on the age, they may have better precious metals. Some of them will have, especially on the MLCCs, some palladium. Your crystal oscillators do have some silver recovery. So I am going to also look at some of those on the circuit boards just to let you know what they are and what to look for. But getting back to the different grades, there are some places will separate their circuit boards into low grade, medium grade, and high grade. And it all depends on the type of precious metal you have on the circuit board. As you can see on the right here, or my left, your right, these are your higher grade circuit boards. These are about 10 to 15 cents a pound, depending on where you are. But it's because if I look at this, this is actually a circuit board out of those flat screen TVs. They have gone away with the copper yoke, and they now have circuit boards that have a really nice trim of gold plating on it. As well, some of the fingers that you see, the attachments, will have gold. Some of the little fingers, and I see people always not putting these on there, but you can see the nice gold in there as well. Those are just gold plated, but it all adds up. In the second category, I have a medium grade, and medium grade doesn't have gold. It might have several different MLCCs. It might have several relay boxes that do have a little bit of silver inside of them. As you can see here, this is a board. This here is a crystal oscillator right there, that silver thing, and there is a little bit of silver in there. There are some MLCCs right here, these brownish things. And I will take those off, especially on the older boards, and I will put them in a container. And I also do take off these relay boxes. There is a little bit of silver in them. I've mentioned these a lot in videos, but not a lot of silver. But if I turn it around, this is what you see inside. There's a small little dot there. That dot is silver. So I put it into a little vial. And the last category is your low grade circuit boards. This does not have any precious metals on it. As you can see, it's very basic, but there are a lot of goodies on here. This is about your 5-cent price, but in my opinion, very well worth the time to take this stuff off. I got some really nice heavy aluminum heat sinks. These aluminum bars right here are classified as extrusion, and currently right now in London, Ontario, these are actually going for $1.56 a pound. I always love to get these off of there. There's some really nice copper spools here, and this copper is going to go for number 2 copper price, which is currently $4.68 a pound. There are a couple transformers on here. These transformers will go for 10 to 15 cents a pound as well, because there is some copper in them. So I do take these off. So it's definitely a better option to separate the material off of my boards if I have, copper and aluminum extrusion, because where I come from, as I said, I do not get paid much for my circuit boards. So you do have to ask around your scrap yards to see if they do give you the higher price. So that is one thing that I do want to mention. Because I get them all one priced, I'm definitely not going to bring them in as is. Yes, I'll get weight price, but I definitely, in the end, I do not get the price for the separate metals. And especially with gold being the price it is, I'm going to get a lot more money taking that gold in and selling it a different way. So that is the first thing. The second thing I do want to look at is I do want to look at some of the materials that you can find on these circuit boards. A couple really good things that I take off there, as I said, is your aluminum heat sinks. Aluminum heat sinks, as I said, is extrusion. It's a really nice piece of clean aluminum. They are found on a lot of different circuit boards, different shapes, different styles. As you can see here, here's 2 of them. There are sometimes cleaner ones like this one. And something like this would not be extrusion. This would actually just be clean aluminum. It's a nice thick piece. But the reason these would be extrusion is because if I take it up to the camera, you can see it's almost like it's been put through a press. So $1.56 for this. This piece is a clean piece. There are sometimes just really thin ones. And those would be classified as clean aluminum. And clean aluminum is about 45 to 50 cents a pound. So still a good price, but just make sure you separate it from your extrusion. Another example of extrusion, if you will, is from your screens or your window frames. Those are extrusion. You'll find a lot of shower doors. They have bike rims. I just released a video on that. But extrusion is definitely one of the good things that I take. There are, on a lot of circuit boards, as you can see here, these little tubes, and I always thought they were little batteries, but these are called aluminum capacitors. I do not take these off. I actually have done a video and an experiment on aluminum capacitors. They are not worth the time or the price to take those off and sell them as aluminum. So I do leave them on for the weight. But I definitely, as I said, want to make sure that I get my copper. There is a relay box right here that does have a spool of copper and a little bit of silver. As well, on your aluminum heat sinks, you do want to check these little fingers right here. Once you take the screw out of them, a lot of these black fingers do have copper inside of them. These ones do not, because I think these are just, if I open it up, there is actually, nope, there is, I'm sorry. You just can't see it because it's covered by plastic. Some of them you actually will see the top of it is a metallic color, and they are copper. So I actually cut those off. I will put them into a container, and it'll be number 2 copper. So definitely want to make sure, and those, as I said, come off of your aluminum heat sinks, the little bolts that hold them in, or the little fingers, if you will. Okay, so that is one thing that I definitely want to do. Another thing, the nice thing about circuit boards is this is a circuit board that comes out of a computer tower. I love these because, as you can see here, there are 2 really nice aluminum heat sinks that are extrusion. I have a nice spool of copper there, as well as there, so that'll be number 2 copper. I have also a transformer. I leave these transformers on there because they don't, if I look up in the camera, There doesn't appear to be a lot of copper inside of that, so I will leave them on there for the weight. But another nice thing is all of this wire I will cut off as close to the board as I can, and all of this wire is going to go into my 60% copper recovery pile. We call, at scrapyards, there is 40% copper recovery and 60%. This is right now going for $2.13 a pound Canadian. And the reason we call this 60% copper recovery is because if I take it up to the camera, you can see there is a spool of copper inside there, or a copper wire, and only one layer of coating. So higher copper content, less plastic recovery. Something like a microwave plug that probably, or a computer plug that would probably come from this, would probably have inside of it 2 or 3 coated copper wires, as well as an outer coating. Because there is 2 layers of coating there, it is less copper, more plastic. So that would be your 40% copper recovery, and currently is going for $1.23 a pound. Okay, so great wire here. There's usually about a pound here once I get through it, or close to a pound. So $2.13 is a great score from inside the circuit board, as well as the outer case is always steel, so I put it into my tin shred pile. But a really nice circuit board. And as I said, this would be your low grade board because there is not a lot of precious metals on here. So definitely low grade. Some of your circuit boards, as you can see here, have a beautiful transformer. The transformers that have a steel coating around it, like these ones, this comes out of a microwave. All the doors usually have these. These transformers are definitely worth taking apart. A really nice copper spool in there. The nice thing about it is these metal prongs, they do fit in like this, and I have a video on taking apart transformers, so if you're interested, go check that out. But great source of copper inside of that. And as you can see also on here, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relay boxes there that all have copper inside of them. They are going to have a silver contact. So this is more my mid-grade board if your scrapyard divides it. As well, you do have the prongs here that you can see that when I pulled the wire off, I do cut them. These prongs are brass, so I do pull these off and put them into my brass pile. Okay, but again, I'm looking around the capacitors I leave on here, and there is a couple little MLCCs. I will take those off if I can get to them. And as I said, all I do is I will actually just put them into a vial. You can see them right there. I do not actually refine them right now, but I am holding on to them right now, and hopefully I can even sell them in bulk. But MLCCs, some people will take those and extract the palladium out of them. I find it difficult, especially the new ones. I don't think they have as much as the older ones, so I do make sure I separate my older circuit boards from my new ones, because I find the older it is, probably the better materials inside of it. But that's just my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. The last one, as I said, want to get to, love the flat screen TVs. Always get these gold. There's always 2 of these, or sometimes there's actually, I've seen some that have 2 on the side and 1 on the bottom if they're a great big flat screen. But some really nice gold. These are your high grade boards. You can see some gold plating on there as well. And there are also some chips on here too. I'm going to actually look at a couple different types. As you can see, this is a motherboard from a computer tower. There are, which one do I actually want to show you? I had one that I was going to show you that actually has, well, the RAM sticks. You can see they fit in here. Sometimes they will have the RAM sticks in there. The nice thing about this is, I was just looking online this morning, these you can actually sell them as is for about $15 in Canada a pound. You can see there is some gold plating on these RAM sticks. You can also sell these online to people. Okay, but there is always a heat sink on here. There's always a fan. Underneath you can see a really nice aluminum heat sink. Sometimes these aluminum heat sinks, actually when you take it off, have a copper bullion or a big circular oval copper piece in there, which is great to take out for number 2 or number 1 copper. I do also have a video on those, but traditionally, and a lot of them that you find will be, as you said, circular like this, I do have to make sure I take the motor off. This motor I will put into my copper bearing motors because there is a little motor in the fan. But great source of copper, or aluminum, sorry. You will also see 2 smaller aluminum heat sinks. And underneath these aluminum heat sinks, you will find little IC chips like this. Okay, and these are worth taking, as well as the aluminum heat sinks. As you can see on this, there is a little bit of gold. They will buy these, and as you can see, they're different sizes, but very easy to take off, and I am going to take one off in a second for you. Okay. The nice thing is gold is on a lot of different electronics. This is just a little, what are those, the neodymiums right here, but you can see the circuit board underneath, really nice gold prongs on that. Going to, also when you can see, when you look around, hopefully the light, these also have a lot of gold right in here. These are gold plated prongs there. You can see that attached. There's here, there, here, 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 as well as here. Look at that nice gold there you can see there. All of these have gold in them too. As well, if I turn this around, it's a little dirty. Your ports to your phone will have some gold in it. And what I will do is for these is I will actually just use a pair of tin snippers. I will actually just cut the prongs out, just like something like this. And I will just store this. I will collect this. The rest of my board, once I take the precious metals off and stuff, I will actually just bring it in as e-waste and get the price for it. But for me, collecting the gold, storing it up, I'm hoping that eventually when I have a huge bulk of it, I can just drive it down to Toronto or replace myself. Or because of the weight, definitely going to cut down on my shipping costs. There is another board you can see. They will take these, okay? And what I do is just cut the fingers off there. There is inside of there, and I haven't taken the metal off, but you can see the gold on the phone jacks there, which is great. There is my crystal oscillator there. So I do pull those off. They do have a little bit of silver inside of them. And as you can see, I just collect them, put them into a jar. As well, the gold, sometimes the gold is very fine. I will pins, if I'm extracting pins, for example, or as you can see in there, there's a couple ticker tapes in there, if you will. Those actually come out of printer cartridges, which is awesome. Here is another one. You know, you look at it, you got to look hard, but there is beautiful right here. This is gold pronged. So I will cut this off, put this into my gold. The rest of this I will put into my low grade. Okay, so again, just going to show a couple of examples. The nice thing is with these, you definitely want to make sure you check all of these little ports. That port you can see if I turn to the camera, hopefully you can see that. But right there, there is gold in there and easy to see. I just turned this prong. That is gold as well. But just going to show you, take this aluminum heat sink off. Very easy to do. Just going to take a pry bar actually. And once I find it, I've got so many tools here. Here we go. Make sure I wear safety glasses. But I'm just going to actually pop it up. If I can, there we go. And I might break the board, and that's okay because I'm not doing anything with the board anyway. But there it is, just showing you, there's my board. There underneath is, they're all tied together with wire, sorry. There is an IC chip there that I want to get. I don't take these. I do see some people taking these off and selling them separately. I don't bother, but again, it depends on where you live and how much time you have. But I have seen some people take these off, and online sources will take these. They are just like an IC chip, I think. But here you go. Here's an example that I have. These things, all I'm going to do is actually very simple. Just going to put a flathead screwdriver underneath it. Take a hammer, and I've seen people use a electric drill or electric chisel, but just going to take a small flathead, put it against the thing. There you go, a couple taps, and there is my IC chip right there. It's got the gold on it. Okay, and as I said, the other thing, where is my last one that I love showing these are my awesome prizes, the CPU chip, the mother load, look at that beautiful CPU chip. I could tone it. Look at all those gold-plated prongs. They are always found under your aluminum heatsink. And I'm just going to open it up, show you. Ta-da! Look at that beautiful CPU chip, all gold pronged. And again, they come in different styles. You'll see some that have the prongs. You'll see some that do not have the prongs, but these are all gold plated. All of these are worth something. I just looked online in Canada, offering $15 a pound. So these do add up. I've seen E-Waste Ben bring in $16,000 worth of various gold off of his electronics. So great payday for him. And one day, hopefully, this is my trip to Europe, back to Europe with my wife. You know, great thing to be able to save up, use. There again, there's my nice IC chip. Beautiful prongs. Watch this. Just going to pull this out. Look at the gold attachment on that. This is going to have gold, so I just cut around that, take this, take these two chips, and the rest of this is going to be scrapped, recycled in my area. So again, great questions that I have. It depends again on your area, depends on your country, depends on what you are willing to scrap. But in my opinion, they are definitely worth the time. Oh, right here in front of me, sorry. There are my Ram sticks. These just came right out of the circuit board. There you go. Look at those, 2 more. I could sell those individually, or I could sell them online in bulk. But I have a whole bunch of those. There is my CPU chip. Open that one up. Is this one going to be? There you go. There's another one. Beautiful. And again, a lot of gold around here, gold prongs. And I got some copper spools on there too. So great questions. Hopefully that answered some of them. As I said, you've got to check around. Some places take it all in as one price, and it's not worth it taking it in, especially in my area with the gold on it for 5 cents a pound. Definitely worth more of the copper, taking it off, the transformers, the gold, storing that precious metal up. As I said, for some, they will take the MLCCs. They will take, also, here are some of my gold prongs, as I said. It does not take a lot of time, in my opinion, to store it up. Definitely want to make sure you have containers. I use little vials for my precious metals, but definitely I use bags for my number 2 copper, and I use a big bag for my heat sinks. So again, hopefully that answered some questions for you. Hope you found it informative, enjoyable, and hopefully you can start looking at your scrapyards and your circuit boards with a little bit more knowledge, and be able to start identifying these materials. So please comment down below, like, share, subscribe. I also want to say a big happy Thanksgiving to my American friends who are celebrating this weekend, Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Wish you peace, love, and happiness, and all my other viewers as well. So thanks for watching. Tin Man out.